Now that all the foundations are sorted out and everything's leveled and put in place, I've got to start working out the damp-proof membrane. It's essentially just a heavy-duty plastic that has to be put down underneath the concrete. This stops the rising damp that can come into homes, and it can certainly be a big deal if you don't do it. It can cause a lot of problems with humidity and mold and all that sort of thing, so it's well worth doing. I've pretty much got to wrap up each quadrant like a big present and make sure that the plastic continues down into the trenches and up the side as well. I've then also gone around it with some black vinyl tape to make sure that all the overlaps and joins are sealed up, and you can see where I've continued that tape up around the pipes as well. Once that's done, I've got to do the steel reinforcement, which consists of two different types. One is the heavy-duty reinforcement that goes into the trenches, and the second one is the upper reinforcement that goes into the slab itself. It's tied together with wire twist ties just to hold everything in place so that it doesn't move around during the concreting process, and it basically ties everything into one sort of cage. The next thing I've got to do is go around and position these little plastic cradles so that the reinforcement sits at the correct height. A lot of the time when you're working on your own, you've got to work out ways of doing things. The biggest difficulty I'm having with the steel mesh that goes on top is not the weight of it, but it's the flexibility. So what I'm doing here is just adding on a length of timber and holding it in place with a couple of G-clamps. This takes the flexibility out of it, which means that it's not going to wobble around when I try and carry it. From there, I use that same sort of principle to manhandle the pieces into place and just drag them around and position them until they're right. And then they're wired, tied down to the underlying trench frames. And as before, I've got to go around and put in the little plastic cradles so that everything sits at the correct height. And that pretty much finishes it off for the next step. Once the concrete goes down, I should be able to start moving along with construction quite quickly. So that'll be the update for this time, guys. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.